What's up, fans of anime? Demon Slayer Season 4 is coming out, but before we get to that, let's go ahead and revisit Demon Slayer Season 3. Now let's start with the introductions. I love Demon Slayer, and this gentleman right here likes Demon Slayer. So we're gonna have two different contrasts of opinions, and let's get to it. Let's start with the story. The story of Season 3, I feel like it was there wasn't much of a story.
It's more backstory.
It was more lore.
Backstory, yes.
Lore. It was more
Backstory.
lore, background, like you said. I had to do a lot more with the Hashiras.
Yes.
And even the Upper Moons.
The Upper Moons.
I guess since this is the Blacksmith story arc, it had to do with those guys too.
Yeah.
The people with the mask.
For this entire scene, I felt like the story that I wanted to know about was something that they're definitely gonna have to revisit later, but I just wanted to know it now. And that's when Tanjiro was fighting the doll guy. Apparently that doll is supposed to be like an imitation of the first ever
Oh, you're talking about the training doll.
Yeah.
I was like, what doll are you talking
that
about?
entire guy has like an entire backstory because he was like from that original era. He was designed to fight just like him.
I'm assuming that is the first
That is the first
Hashira.
Hashira, yeah.
Now, before we go any further, just know that he has read
Yes.
the manga or know a lot more about the manga. I do
Yes.
not read the manga. I am just the anime watcher, although I do love Demon Slayer. Now let's get back to it. They never say it, but he is the first Hashira.
Yes.
Yeah, he
was modeled after the first
What did
Hashira.
how did they say it? They insinuated that he is the first Hashira.
Yeah, it was like
By context clues.
By context,
Yeah.
It's like, why does he have 6 swords? Oh, it's because his style of fighting looked like he had 6 swords, so that's what they did. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And if you watch the opening, he is there.
Yeah, he is there.
Yeah, he's there in the opening with the Hashiras.
Yeah, and then all the other story arcs were, which was the Mist guy,
Tokito, Muichiro.
Yeah, Muichiro. His backstory. There's also Mitsuri's backstory as well. So there wasn't a lot of story in like the grander scale. It's more about
The main story.
Yeah, the main story.
It was more about side characters, backgrounds.
Yeah, which if you don't care about any of these characters, then you're probably not gonna care about the story for them at all.
Although there is one major thing that did happen, which is at the end.
Yes, at the end.
And Nezuko finally gained sun immunity.
Yes.
And that is a major plot point.
That was that's the turning point right there.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing that happened in season 3.
Yeah, that was like the most important thing.
That's
that
probably the
ever
most
happened.
talked about thing in season 3.
Yes,
Everything
yes.
else didn't matter. Muichiro killed the guy. Who cares?
Yeah.
Mitsuri almost offended off the other Upper Moon. Who cares?
Who cares?
Tanjiro did Sun Halo dance. Oh, well, it is what it is.
No,
Nezuko
Nezuko
almost died.
Hell
immunity.
yes.
Yeah, there you go. Even nowadays, when we talk about Demon Slayer season 3, we only talked about Nezuko's immunity.
Yeah.
I don't talk about the 2 Upper Moons died.
Or
That's not
yeah,
even-
or about Tokito's backstory or Mitsuri's backstory.
Yeah,
it's all about Nezuko.
We talk about that. I don't know why I don't talk about that.
It's all about Nezuko. So
Yeah.
in that context, it's good, but I felt like compared to everything else, is this actually a good story for the 3rd season?
To reiterate what we said, or to summarize what we said, main storyline plot, it wasn't that good.
Meh.
But side characters and their background stories,
Great.
if that's what you want, that's good.
Yeah. And so I guess just jumping right into it, the characters obviously. So there are 4 prominent characters. There's Tanjiro, Tokito, Mitsuri, and then Genya, I believe.
And what do you mean by prominent?
So they're the ones who were shown to be more like they fight and everything. They're talked about more like
They got more screen
they
time.
got more screen
is what
time.
you're
Yeah,
saying.
obviously, we already mentioned Tokito, Matsuri, but we also forgot that Genya's background story as well.
Yeah.
About how he's not actually a demon slayer. He can't breathe. He doesn't have breathing style. So I thought that was interesting.
But for some particular reason, he eats demons.
Yeah, for some reason he can eat demons and then gain their abilities.
Before we go on, did they talk about that?
Yeah, they
how he
talk-
has it?
No, they didn't talk about it. That was something that they completely glossed over.
I don't remember why he has it.
I remember watching it. I can gain demon powers by eating their
And
their
everybody's
flesh.
cool with it.
Yeah, everyone's cool with it. Nobody
Tanjiro
questions
saw it,
why.
Tanjiro, okay.
I was like, bro, that's such a crazy idea. But why is that a thing? I thought if you ate demon flesh, you would become a demon, or is there something else that's going on here? But they don't ever talk about that. So in terms of the most interesting story plot, I think that was the most interesting story plot comparatively to like the other 2 characters. Tokito's stepbrother, his half brother, not his half brother, his twin brother dies, and then Mitsuri was, I guess, do I say stereotypical girl who couldn't fit in, and she tried to
She
conform.
wanted to blend in, yeah.
Yeah, she tried to conform, but figured out that wasn't for her. I felt like they did Mitsuri's backstory kind of dirty. It wasn't like as grand or I guess as like detailed as Tokito's story arc, if I'm being honest.
Well, it's just because her background story wasn't tragic. It just wasn't tragic.
Yeah, it wasn't tragic.
Depending how you view tragic. Her background story is obviously she was a normal.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I guess what I was trying to say was Tokido. It made it very obvious onto how he became like a demon slayer to begin with. Like they showed his path. What was Mitsudi's path to becoming a demon slayer? Like why did she want to become a demon slayer?
I think they said it.
Did they?
Yeah, they did, but it wasn't as tragic.
It was like they were all okay with me, so I became a demon slayer. Meanwhile, Tokido's over here is like my brother and my mom literally died to a
I want to
demon.
say it's because she wanted to protect, because she was like, she was strong.
Oh,
as a
yeah.
girl, she was strong.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it was. She wanted to protect, and she's like, where can I go protect people?
Okay.
And that's the Demon Slayer Corps. I'm not sure if that's what it is, but from what I remember, I remember she had a talk with the head Demon
guy,
Slayer
yes.
Corps guy. Yeah. Even though this arc was like very short, like 12 episodes, they introduced a lot of new characters, like the blacksmiths. Even like you said, the two Hashiras that came out, which is Tokito and Kanroji.
All the upper moons as well.
And they also showed the meeting with the upper moons, which is crazy. We got to see number one and Doma, and we got to see Akaza again, and we got to see Muzan a bunch of times, and we even got Muzan's backstory somewhat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at the end right there. So characters, I would say the characters were good. We got a lot more surprises, like you said, Genya's ability to eat demon, that was weird. Now animations, it was God tier. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, Demon Slayer, they always gonna have good animation,
Yeah.
Ufotable.
Y'all know why you're there.
Yeah, so there's not much to talk about. They did not drop at all. It's still the same consistency from Demon Slayer season 1 to Demon Slayer season 3. So there's not much to talk about unless you want to talk about anything. Okay, I will say Sun Halo dance was amazing.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, the Sun Halo technique was when he was doing it to kill those upper 4.
Yeah, all the clones.
Yeah, that was crazy. I like that animation right there. Now the next category is pacing. Now, since it was so short with 12 episodes, you would think that it would have any pacing issues. Now, I feel like the only pacing issue I could find is that maybe they were talking too much about the side characters.
Yeah.
So their background stories. Every new character had a background story that was introduced. So, for example, Genya got a backstory.
Yes.
Muichiro got a backstory. Mitsuri got a backstory. Muzan got a backstory. And I believe even the doll that you said Tanjiro was fighting had a backstory.
Yeah.
Because it had to do with
The kid?
that village.
Yeah,
That village,
yeah.
and also it brought back to the even the sun breathing had a background story.
Yeah, small bit. Yeah.
It was more like we talked about, like we said in the story category.
There's a lot more.
It's a lot more lore.
Talking and
Yeah.
less action. Which with Demon Slayer, they've started this pattern. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. Which is the first 5 to 6 episodes are all talking, and then the final 5 to 6 episodes are all like fighting, action packed.
Yeah.
And I feel like for some reason they didn't do it here, because I remember when Tokido was fighting the Upper Moon, he was still having flashbacks to his brother and his mom, and then the same thing with Mitsuri. She was fighting the
Upper Four.
the Upper Four as well.
Tengu.
And then we get her backstory, which I'm just like, I wish I would have got that beforehand, because the fighting was good, but then it gets axed by like
But
these small
animes
backstories.
always do that though.
I know, but
A lot of animes do that.
for Demon Slayer specifically, like I felt like the formula they had for the previous season was great, because it was, first 5 episodes good,
It was all fighting.
and then episode 6 like all fighting, and we're just like, holy shit, let's go.
Yeah, it is not fair because
It's Demon
or
Slayer.
or it is fair because we're comparing this season to season 2, and season 2 was amazing if you enjoy action, because it
Yes.
was all action packed. Now this one, it obviously took a step back because there's a lot of information to talk about. So that's the only pacing issue I could find.
Yeah.
Everything else is good, and now I don't mind background stories. This time I didn't mind it too much because usually I go crazy for background stories where I'm just like bored of it. The background stories didn't take the whole episode. I guess that was a good thing.
Yeah.
It took like half of the episode, which is fine. Now to wrap it all up, the final verdict, man. I'm just gonna say Demon Slayer season 3. It wasn't everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
If you love Demon Slayer like me, you're gonna love it. They had some good highlights. There wasn't many lows, but there wasn't many highs.
Yeah, it was really.
So it was very it was like standard.
Yeah.
It was normal. So people would rate it as if I had to give it like a star scale, like a point scale, it would be like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like a lot of people had it. It was good. It wasn't great. It was good. It wasn't bad. It was good.
Yeah.
All right, so right here we got our trusty companion, the tier maker, and we are gonna go ahead and
Rank
rate
it.
tier list this bad boy here, Demon Slayer season 3. Now, if you haven't watched our previous videos, we do have Solo Leveling right here and Rurouni Kenshin right here. That's the spoilers. So where should we put Demon Slayer season 3? I would say it's right here, B.
Yeah, I would say that as
Right
well,
there,
yeah.
worth a
Yeah,
watch.
Worth a watch.
It couldn't be great because
Season 2 happened.
yeah, and also I will only rewatch this season only for the fight scene.
Fight scenes, yes.
I wouldn't rewatch the whole thing.
Yeah, but even in saying that, if I were just to watch Demon Slayer for the fight scenes, I would just watch the second season again.
Yeah.
So
So for it to be great, I think you would be able to rewatch the whole season.
yeah, or at least I'll more than just
Yeah,
what
like
I just
80%
said,
of it.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, more than half of it. This one I can't watch. There's a lot of talking going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of talking. Also, a lot of really sad stuff happening as well. So unless
Yeah.
you just really
A lot
want
of
to feel sad
emotional
again,
stuff. Yeah.
no, you know what? I'll watch it. You know, we should put it in S tier just because Nezuko has sun resistance now.
Nah, that's too much of a plot armor.
That's the best thing right there.
So that's where we have it. We have it right there at a B.
So Demon Slayer Season 4 is coming up pretty soon, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they animate the next arc, because now that Muzan knows Nezuko has sun resistance,
Yeah.
things are about to get real. So that's our review on Demon Slayer Season 3, but what do you guys think? Leave it in the comments down below telling us how you guys feel about it, and are you guys looking forward to the next season? And stay tuned for upcoming anime reviews and quizzes, but until next time, thank y'all for watching.